Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about how to write scientific research paper. A lot of college students and high school students need to write scientific research paper at one point or another. So this is basically beginners video for that. Um, for the scientific research paper, you need claim, hypothesis, background, experiment, data, and analysis and conclusion. So I will go into each of them right now. For hypothesis and background, typical hypothesis formation is if blah blah blah, then blah blah blah. To come up with this if and then statement, you need some background information. So example for that is this. Customer always buy more apple than peaches. I think they buy more apple because apple is cheaper than peaches. If the price of apple is raised, then there will be more sale for peaches. So in here, the red part is a background. Customer buy more apples than peaches. It is an established fact that is already happening. It's not experimentable. So that's background. So from the background, you think about something and say, oh, if I do this, then maybe something changes. That's hypothesis. So they're a bit different, and you need to make connection between that in the introduction paragraph. Then there's alternative and null hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis is a hypothesis you use to prove something. For example, Albert thinks the sale of fruits are related to the price of fruits. Then he will use this hypothesis to prove the relationship. If the price of apple is raised, then there will be more sale for peaches. But null hypothesis is different. Null hypothesis for the disapproving the relationship. So, for example, Nancy thinks Albert is wrong, so she wants to prove Albert wrong. So, her hypothesis will be opposite of Albert, saying if price of apple is raised, then there will not be more sale for peaches. So, therefore, she's making claim that price of apple is nothing to do with the sales of peaches. And so, in experiment, designing experiment is important. You probably know this, independent variable, dependent variable, control. If you don't know, stop this slide and just read it through. For the independent variable, a lot of people make mistake because they don't make enough independent variable. Because remember, the hypothesis I made was if the price of apple is raised, then there will be more sale for peaches. So I have to raise the price of apples, but how many times? Usually people say, oh, I'm gonna have $10 increase on the apple, then see it, control with the compare with the control, but that's not how you should do the experiment. Experiment should be like at least 3 to 5 independent variable. So first independent variable will be control, no change in apple's dollar, no change in apple peach's price. Then I will gradually change the apple's price, see how much increase it was going to affect at what point. Then the data. Data is easy. For the data, you just do the experiment and you collect the data. But for the data section in your scientific research paper, you don't explain the numbers. A lot of people make this mistake. People want to write the data and want to explain the data in the data section, but that's not for the data section. Data section is for the graph, chart, and all the other raw data you found in the experiment, and how it's like, pretty graph and chart. That's what is needed in the data section, not anything else. Analysis, the understanding of number, is for the next section, analysis section. Analysis is a section to understand the meaning of number in data. Analysis will be something like the sales of apple compared to sales of peach was not affected at control and 10% increase of price, but it started to affect when the price was increased equal to or more than 20%. Therefore, increase of price of apple does affect sales of peaches. So therefore, alternative hypothesis was accepted and null hypothesis was rejected. That's analysis. You don't go any further than that. You don't make theories and assumptions at this point. For analysis, you just compare the numbers and you just come up with the understanding. That's why a lot of time data and analysis part is short. Experiment part is long because you have to explain the experiment part step by step. Data section, there's a lot of graph. That's how people increase number of paper. So for the conclusion is the important part. From analysis, we learned the rising of Apple does affect sales of peaches. Now we need to incorporate this information with the background. That's what is about conclusion. Conclusion is how you come up with analysis, which is just for this experiment. You don't make general assumption in analysis. Then using analysis, you incorporate it with the other information like you mentioned in background and make it together and forming the theory or supporting a theory or rejecting a theory. So my conclusion will be customer always buy more apples than peaches, which was background. However, when price of apple is raised, customer buy more peach than apple. Therefore, customers bought more apple because it was cheaper. So therefore, cheaper fruit equals more sale theory is formed or supported. That's conclusion of the scientific paper. Then error, you always need to put error because we're human, we make mistake. We have to mention that to make it more convincing. Error could be anything that could have altered dependent variable. So example like quality of peach was higher than usual, or apples were in bad quality, or people who usually buy apple were gone. They went to vacation. So those things are not control. It cannot be controlled from experimenter. That's why it is error and it cannot be fixed, right? You just have to put it in there. So whoever reading a paper can make their own judgment about if they're going to believe in this paper, this finding or not. Abstract. Abstract is a paper of summary of research paper that put on very beginning of paper. So it's before the introduction paper, but it should be written at last because it's summary of the research paper. Therefore, you have to write the paper first. In this abstract, you need to put hypothesis, background, basic background information, overall experiment, nothing detailed. Don't put every independent variable you used, and no data. Don't put numbers or percentage, but you need to put finding. I know it's spoiler for the whole experiment and research paper, but you need to put finding at the abstract. So whoever is reading it actually know if this paper is what they're looking for or not. Right? Abstract is very crucial. It's like face of your research paper. For the end, for the better research paper, check your grammar. That's basic thing. And also your data section are not meant to be long. Also people can read diagrams and charts, so don't spell out every single numbers and everything. You don't have to do that. We can read it. Just go straight into the data and that's it. For the experiment, write every detail step by step. You write everything you use for the experiment as well, so anyone can replicate your experiment. For conclusion, don't forget to go back to your background information. Don't just repeating whatever you said in analysis. You have to make new connection and new finding in the conclusion. So that's about it. And if you have any question, please leave a comment and I hope this helped you. Thank you.